Yo, what's up, Carlos? Another one. Hey, Mark. Haven't done my auto tower yet. Yikes. I am doing pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm an epic 7 out of 10. So Flashy Poo, Psycho Magica. Anime lover. I am panties. You can tell a lot about somebody by the way they say the word panties. Hey, Lucy. Tharib, good to see you. Good to see you. Oh no. My inventory's full of garbage. Hey, you save. Are you using an E7 PC client? It doesn't open the game for me. Yeah, Mark, tell me what's going on when you try to open it. Let me pull it up on my end and see if there's anything I can help you do. I'm no expert with the client, but I'll see if I can help you maybe figure a little something out with it. So, right here's the client. Are you able to get this to open at all? I deleted, re-downloaded the client, but when I click play, it gets stuck at running. I have heard that, like, a lot of times the people, when they first time run it, it hangs a lot, but I don't know if you can see on this tiny ass screen down here, but beside the play button, there's a little cog wheel. Click on this cog wheel and click on the required programs management button and make sure that this is installed. If it's not, click the button that says install and install this program. Then, just to be safe, close it all the freaking way down, reboot it, and try firing it up and see if that helps. Yeah, that's installed also. You're running on a PC, right? What version of Windows you on? That's cool, Thomas. Okay, that's what I'm on. That's cool, Thomas. I appreciate you giving it a try, buddy. I'm at a loss as to what the best artifact for ML Payra. What do I use? I use Spear Purification, but I know Uber's Tooth is picking up a lot of popularity and people are making gains with that one as well. I think it's kind of a tie between the two of those. It really just depends on how and where you're going to play your Payra, what her job is for you on the team. I'll tell you what, I'm going to arrange a conference call with the people at Smilegate this coming week, and see if I can get somebody involved in that call who's kind of an expert with this, so I can ask them these questions and maybe put a guide up for the people who are stuck, because you're not the only person I've heard who has struggled with the PC client and getting it up and running, and it's a shame to not be able to run it. So hopefully we can get some troubleshoot tips and some ways to help figure it out for you. The only other thing I can think of is down here on your taskbar. Go into the search button and type in stove so you can get the stove launcher right here. And click run as administrator instead of just running it. Running it as administrator allows it to bypass like firewalls and some of the Windows Defender things. And that can sometimes be bogging it down depending on your Windows Defender or other virus software settings. So try running it as administrator, see if that lets it slip through and fire up when you click the play button. That's kind of the end of my tier 1 tech support. If that doesn't do it, if that does it, let me know real quick. But if that doesn't do it, hopefully I can get you some answers when I set this meeting up. Hey, Rastafarius, how you doing, buddy? I got a bit of a conspiracy for you since I know you enjoy those things, but did I see Madoka Magica got a game within the past 2 weeks? Do you think we could have a Madoka Magica collab? It's possible. I don't know, man. All I know is what the tinfoil hat tells me to tell you guys, and that's what it told me to tell you guys. I can't argue with the tinfoil hat. Wait, do you actually use a Soul Weaver for the auto tower? She's just there from the old team because I had the device that gave me extra damage based on the number of buffs I have, and I forgot to change it. First floor doesn't really matter. Let me see. I mean, you can use anything for the auto tower, right? You can, you can do this. This works fine. Pow, pow. Pew. Get him, Landy. I soloed the entire tower with just Landy. That was kind of a hoot. It's not super fast, though. You can solo it with this guy, but it's very slow. Let's just do this. We'll sort by let's sort by combat points, and I will just use my hardest hitting units until they die. My favorite one was when I burned the tower down. I used all fire units and just, it's so satisfying. I'm watching them go pop, 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 and they burn up. Normally I use Gallus, CPP, Requiem Rwana, and Asflan. Yeah, it's... I like taking teams that make it a little bit fun, a little bit different each time, so it's not so boring. Let me see. Increases ranger damage. At the start of battle, I like ranger damage. I don't know what you want from the limited units. Man, if only somebody made a tier list to help out with that Rasta. Man, I wish I could help you out there, buddy. Gotta make a choice, man. Gotta make a choice. We also gotta see what's available, right? We really don't need... No, really... Can't talk. We really don't know what conditions and rules are going to be set on the limited units. What are and aren't going to be available. Do you have all of the limiteds? Is that what makes it a tough choice, or do you not have any of the limiteds? Man, gear is confusing in this game. I've played the game pretty casually. What would you recommend for the best gear guides? But every day somebody asks me for a gear guide, and it's such a difficult topic to crack. I've sat down several times and tried to draft scripts and ideas for how to do a gear guide. It's such a complicated topic. Maybe I could do one in a series, right? Real rough draft is don't keep anything that's got a flat main stat on a ring or a neck, or a boot for that matter, unless it's speed, of course. Speed boots, you don't keep anything that is other than HP, attack, or speed. Nothing else on a speed boot is needed. So that covers the main stats. The second thing is you don't keep anything that doesn't have a base gear score of 26 or higher. The easiest way to do that's when you go into your sort section, change it to simple selection and tell it to only look at 26 gear score and higher pieces. When you get to the point where you've got like over 1,000 pieces of maxed out gear, then you can maybe inch that up to level 28 by By simple selection, what I mean, and for those of you who don't know about this, I'm about to change your life. When you go into your gear and you click arrange, it'll probably over here, it'll probably just say auto select. Click on this cog and change it from auto select to simple selection. Move this slider up to 26 if you got under 1,000 pieces of gear. Move it up to 28 if you got over 1,000 pieces of gear. And then make sure you check this box that says exclude gear with substats, right? Now when you click this button, it's going to highlight everything that is under 28 gear score that doesn't have a speed substat. So the only things that are left are pieces of gear that are over 28 gear score, or pieces of gear that have got a speed substat on it. That way you can go in and level the good pieces for general usage, and you can speed check the garbage, which brings me to the next step is speed checking. All purple and red pieces with any kind of a speed roll on them, you speed check. And you speed check it. If it's a purple piece, you go up to +3. And if it hits speed, we take it to +6. It hits speed, so we take it to +6. If it hits speed again, we take it to +9. If it doesn't hit speed, it goes straight in the dumpster, because you don't need low gear score start. Even though that rolled high, you don't need low gear score starting pieces unless they are speed pieces. So we just dumpster that, sell it, extract, waiver it, move on to the next one. Enhance, speed check it. It's purple, so we go to +3. It's got to hit speed or it goes in the trash. Even though it was a 2, we go again. It's got to hit speed or it goes in the trash. Okay, it got a 4 that time. It's got to hit speed or it goes in the trash. Okay, so now we do some quick math. It can only hit speed one more time, right? Because the next roll is going to be whatever the hell this is down here. So it can only hit speed one more time. Even though it's a ring with flat health and effectiveness and it's torrent, there's nothing good about this. But if it's 20 plus speed, it's worth keeping. So we do the math real quick. If this rolls another 4, that'll take this up from 11 to 15. So the best this can be is 15 speed, and then I will get +4 when I reforge it. So the best this can be is 19 speed. If that helps your account, you go ahead and go. If that doesn't help your account, you dip out. If you don't need a torrent HP main with HP and effectiveness ring, there's nothing compelling about this. And 19 speed for my level play is pretty mid. I want 21 or higher, or it doesn't really change my account. So I am dipping out, because taking this up all the way would cost almost 500,000 gold and use a shit ton of charms. So I don't want to do this for only 19 speed. But if I did the math and this could, with a 4, could be a 21 speed, I would go ahead and push my luck and take it up higher. But the starting roll of 2, and then another roll of 2, and then a couple of 3, it just wasn't enough to be worth taking this higher, especially with the other stats being garbage. Maybe if it was a speed set and effectiveness main, yeah, speed effectiveness with 19 speed, that would be usable to me. But this we throw in the dumpster. So you got to know when to roll it and know when to fold it. You got to know when to walk away from the piece of gear. And this one I'm walking away from. So sell it, extract it, whatever. And when it's a red piece, you forgive one roll, right? Just like the purple pieces, this is the forgiven roll, right? So it has to hit speed every single time for a quad speed roll. The forgiven one is assigned for us. It's the 4th roll. But with red gear, it could potentially hit speed 5 times, but 4 times is enough. So if it rolls 1 anywhere else, that's the forgiven roll. So we can go ahead and enhance this. Instead of going to 3, we know we automatically forgive 1 roll. So we can just go immediately to +6 and see if it hits speed at all. Okay, it didn't hit speed at all. We don't forgive 2 rolls. We only forgive 1. So this goes in the dumpster. And because we did the simple selection, we don't have to worry about should we keep it or not. Now this one's kind of unusual. It's 28. Which is a good high roll. It's potentially good starting gear, but it's also a speed check. So I got to look at the piece and see if it's got good synergy. It's HP with effect resistance, ER flat defense, this would be great for a Soul Weaver or a Knight, except it's torrent gear. So we don't have good synergy of stats versus set type. So this is not a good piece because there's not good synergy. There are not many HP scalers who want torrent, and those that do also want crit chance and crit damage. So not a good piece stat spread wise, but it's still a speed check. So let's go ahead. Since we can forgive one, we go straight to +6, see if it hits speed. It does, and this is the we forgive one roll. So we're going to get, we need it to hit speed every single one from here on out to make this a keeper. So now we just edge it up by 1 because we've already lost our freebie. So we roll it. Do we get speed? We do. So we take it, because only a 2. So we take it up to +12. It's getting expensive now, but you can imagine if this hits double 4, that's going to be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's going to be a 22 speed piece if I double 4 the top roll. So we nudge it up to +12, and now it is gutter trash garbage, even though it was a pretty high rolls down here, double 7 effectively. Now it is a useless piece to me. Don't look at it and go, wow, max rolls. And, you know, if I hit speed one more time, it could save it. If I hit speed one more time, that'll go to 14, and that would be an 18 speed piece. And that's really, really good speed. The rest of the piece of gear sucks. You really, really need an 18 speed HP main torrent ring with 20% effectiveness. Plus, that last roll to get that shot at an 18 speed is going to cost you almost 400,000 gold and a lot of really big charms for a shot at 18 speed on an otherwise garbage piece, and chances are it's going to roll flat defense. So again, you got to know when to tap out and say, it's just not worth it. If you use the word if more than once in a sentence, if it hits speed and if it's a max roll, then it could be, no, use the word if twice, you throw it away. Use that 400k gold, you use those shit ton of charms to level something that's got an actual shot at being good, and there's no good stat synergy here. Nobody would use this piece realistically. So this one also gets thrown in the dumpster. You're going to throw away 99% of the things you check and speed check. But every once in a while, you'll walk away with a banger. Now you got to look at the really good ones, right? This one's 29 gear score. That's amazing. It's speed set. It's got no speed sub, and it's a flat attack main. Even though it's 29 gear score isn't everything. And this one is nothing. This is a big old nothing burger of trash. The percent attack helps modify the flat attack, but very few things want attack main on the necks. They usually want crit or crit damage. So this piece, unfortunately, even at 29, is trash. This one at 30 looks amazing, but it's flat health on torrent. What the hell is up with me getting torrent flat health? What's wrong with you, Smilegate? Why does this exist? But it does have speed on it, so it's a speed check. There's nothing else redeeming about this piece. Like the first one we rolled, nothing redeeming, so we go ahead and we speed check it. It's red, so we forgive 1, so I'm going straight to +6. Okay, we hit speed. We hit speed in kind of a crappy way, but we go ahead and try to speed check it to +9. I've had worse start. Okay, you know what? Now it goes right in the garbage. Now, boots, you don't speed check boots. Boots, you want the speed and the main stat, which brings me back to simple selection. This is something I've asked Smilegate to address. Exclude equipment with speed substats. It will not exclude equipment with speed main stats. So before you run this to clear everything out, you do want to kind of pop over to your boots and find your speed main boots and either roll them independently or lock them to roll later. And once you have gone through and found all your speed boots, right, you can sort by speed main to make it easier to find them. And once you've rolled all your speed boots, then you can go back to all and run your simple selection and clean everything else out. Otherwise, you're never going to have speed boots to roll because simple selection is going to get rid of it. The only speed main boots you're going to keep are ones that are 26 to 28 gear score and higher. Lather, rinse, repeat. 7 years later, you'll have a couple of 23, 24, 28, 30 speed pieces for sure, right? Surely. And that's it, man. That's the basis for a real broad brush stroke of how to do gear. I didn't get into the details like stat synergies and how penta and quad rolling crit is oftentimes better than penta quad rolling speed, and how to make custom gear for specific units using mod box, all of that. But that is a pretty quick brush over of how to gear. I hope that helps some of you guys, and I'll try to make a guide on how to do this. But man, it's a lot to cover. Anytime you get 40 plus on anything, you keep it. You will find a place for it. There'll be some niche thing where you'll be glad you got a 40 effectiveness destro chest. I know it sounds crazy, but there's going to be some PvE thing that comes out that you need to nuke, but you also need 100 effectiveness for, and you're like, okay, I can slap an effectiveness main ring on Janua, but how am I going to nuke? I need 100 effect, and well, there's your chest. Janua is a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. You know, Sigrid maybe, and that will get you your 105 effectiveness, and now you can do the debuff while still maintaining a destro set. So anytime you get 40 or especially 50 of anything, it's a problem-solving piece. It's one that you hang on to, and you'll be surprised how that can help you out. Yo, Sparky, thanks for the biddies, man. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
I want a team of 5 chatty mages. I name this one down 4 to go. Link.
Want a team of 5 chatty mages. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even realize you could bottle chatty. That's crazy, man. Just to show you what this guy's doing, those of you with weak stomachs, those of you with small children in the room, look away, cover their eyes, because that's freaking unhinged. Uh-oh, Mr. Ludwig's dead. Next highest CP, go. I got a 50 HP helm the other day. Is that good? I mean, unless you mean 50 flat HP. Yeah. Anytime you get a 40 or 50% anything, that means you penta rolled. And you want to keep that. There will always be a place for it that you won't expect, right? Let the robot will find a place for it. If you use fribbles, that's what I mean by the robot. Hey Tristen, I finally made my 240 speed Zeo lifesteal build. Fribbles no longer gets updates. Fribbles Guild War doesn't. It did stop updating the main they stop updating the main robot too. I hadn't checked on that. I know he stopped doing the Guild War site.
Are you still excited for the Origin update? Also Bibless Solos New Moon Luna any day.
Oh, dude, I'm a lore head. Of course I'm excited for the Origins update. You kidding me? The new Crow looks crazy. I'm really excited to see this new story, get into Epic 6, to see what they do with things like Vildred and his story, how Dien is going to be there. You know, this is pre-Dien, like, losing Bask. Is Dien gonna be married to Bask? Is Dien gonna be a freaking just a nun, or is she still gonna be queen? She may not be, right? The whole reason Queen became Dien is because of the shit she did sealing away the Archdemon in Epic 7 before Rast woke up and they deposed the old cowardly king and she took over. Is the old cowardly king still gonna be the king in Epic 6? There's so much cool stuff about that, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I am, I'm cautiously optimistic about the hard mode spirit altars. The what do they call them? The constellation system. I hear RTA is a freaking madhouse right now. People are doing insane damage with units that should not be doing insane damage because of the changes. So that's cool. People are doing crazy shit with RTA. Mostly I am hyped that Epic 7 put a lot of effort into community stuff, right? Some swings and misses on stuff, some epic heckin' fails on other stuff, but some really good stuff in other places. The Goblin shop system, trying to fix the Penguin slider, even though they did an absolute gutter trash job on it. It gives me hope that they're re-engaging with and trying to do great things. As long as it is a mandate for the way Smog is going to behave moving forward, then the future is really hecking bright, and I am thrilled with it. The thing I don't want to see is for them to sit back and say, there, we're done for the year, like they did with the Epic Dash event last year, where they generated all this hype. They got all these new players to come back. They spiked their numbers. Everything was great. And then they just vanished for 6 months. I mean, really, name me something Smilegate did between October and now. It's kind of hard, isn't it, right? You might be like, well, it was Brawl, and there's a child wandering around a village, something to do with bread. That's about it. You know, they had lightning in a bottle, and they just kind of dropped it, right? Yeah, and they released some units. If they do that again, it'll be a disaster. But if they start engaging with the community and start pumping out content, if we go from Origin into Collab, into Summer Event, into World Cup, into Anniversary, into Autumn Collab, I mean, bang, 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 bang. If they keep hitting us with consistent flowing content and constant tweaks to quality of lights that are asked for, then Epic's, you know, people who like Epic 7 are going to be eating well. But yeah, we just have to wait and see. It is definitely starting in the right direction. They have set the ball, and now we need them to spike it. Hey, Gratz Anime. That's a solid piece. You're dead. Go away. Who's next? Bihu. Get in there. Do you think we'll get the Fallen Land Season 3 now that we got the Sylvan Sage Vivian? Fallen Land is completed. Right? That's why we got the Selector for Fallen Land. So I don't think there's any more Fallen Land stuff to be done. I do not, Dark. I just really like the music. Be crazy if they bamboozled us with the new Ras and he turns out to be a big shot and the secret. And the real big shot was the secret Light Vildred. It's a really good chance we get Light Vildred and that Light Vildred's a good guy. Because remember, Vildred is Ross's best friend and greatest ally in Epic 6. There is no Arbiter Vildred. He is one of the top good guys who fought with the heirs alongside of Ras. Zero Defect City is done, and we were all promised a Moonlight Selector, not Moonlight Selector, but a what do they call it? They had a special word for it, and I'm brain farting on it. Moonlight Blessing, thank you. Moonlight Blessing when the chapters end, and they actually use the words "the end" at the end of that one. So we've been waiting, and that was one of the kind of letdowns, I guess, from the Origin updates. I thought for sure they would mention Fallen Land is over, here's your Moonlight Blessing, but it didn't come to pass. So I don't know. I don't know if they just felt maybe that was too generous and it's gone away the same way, what do you call it? The same way the Nadalon ship and 3v3 Arena kind of went away. They just changed their minds on it. What do you suggest to pick on the first Moonlight Selector? Arbiter Vildred, there's no other choice. Stenny's not that good anymore? No, Stenny is not that good anymore. Stenny's only real job is in the Abyss, and now there's ways to do the Abyss without her. DDR is not on the initial Moonlight Blessing. DDR is from the Fallen Lands Moonlight Blessing, and that's who you'd want to pick up from Fallen Lands for sure. Well, DDR, Conqueror Lilius, Mediator Queric. I don't know, Mediator Queric or DDR. I think early on Queric would do more things for you, but DDR is really good too. My concern with DDR is he's a couple of hard counters away from not being that good, whereas Queric is an eternal unit. He does a little bit of everything. I almost would lean towards Queric for new players, unless your end goal is just to get into RTA. Do you think the collab will be released this month? I'm staying optimistic, so yes. I think it'll at least be announced this month, but yeah. It's a little weird we haven't heard about it yet. What's up, Bruno? Is this how people do auto tower? I have one team that used to... I'm just farting around. This is a way to do auto tower. Another way is to have a specific team that always does it. Another way is to stack devices that are specifically tuned towards the way you want to play auto tower. Like if there's a, oh, believe you me, the instant a Defiance device pops out, I'm putting a 40k unit in the front. So you know, you can, some people just run Green Vildred and hit auto. Some people just run Landy or Navy Captain Landy and hit auto. I'm just trying something a little different. And mostly this is letting me just not have to think about it so I can read chat and talk to you guys while I get auto tower done, because I totally forgot to do auto tower. But the Overlord movie Blu-ray release, maybe, very unlikely. They said new collab. They said friends from a new world. And we've already had friends from I see Defiance right there, huh? We already had friends from the Overlord world. Not exactly a new world. Who's my highest HP? Okay, right in the front you go. My Jacko dead, though, and I don't want to spend Stigma bringing her back to life. Have I seen the new Super Cube anime? Have not. My 30k Bellion with +3 Defiance does the job, yep. I used to stack a 40k Eaton just to do auto tower. I just really hope it's Demon Slayer. The one thing I can guarantee it's not is Demon Slayer. It's the only thing we know it's not. Couldn't this just be a translation error? Yeah, it could be. It could be. Oh, you really hope it's not Demon Slayer. Yeah, it's not Demon Slayer. They straight up said. How we know is back in September when we cornered them and said, on a scale of 1 to 10 with Demon Slayer being a 5, how hyped would the community be? And they said 6 or 7, which, unless they were masters of misdirection, and I'm pretty good at picking up when people are blowing smoke up my ass, that's kind of an indictment that it's not a not Demon Slayer. When will it be announced if it's coming? They said they were working on 2. One that they felt the community would be really excited about, and one that they felt the community would be kind of about. What I read between the lines is super hype anime or game collab, and then co-op collab with Chaos Zero Nightmare. That's what I kind of read between the lines on that, but that's just my assumption. Typically, collabs have always been end of spring, beginning of summer, and then end of autumn, or end of summer, beginning of autumn, right? So usually in that April to June range is the first collab window, and in that August through October range is the second collab window. Not always. We have some weird out of sequence ones, the most memorable one being Espa dropping over Christmas. But usually that's the collab window, right? Right after anniversary, where they've gotten a lot of people in from the anniversary and then they keep them with a collab, or right before summer where they get a lot of people in with the collab and then they keep them with the summer units. That's kind of been their pattern over the past several years. 2023 and 2024 shook up that pattern a lot, but there was a lot of major restructuring issues with Smilegate. So I'm assuming we're back onto that pattern. Plus, the roadmap we got back in January said Friends from a New World coming in April. Now, that could easily just mean Epic 6, and that's what they were talking about. And then the collab is actually down the road a bit. Or it could mean that once we get through Origins and we get that settled in and everybody's all hyped about the game, then they roll out a collab announced towards the end of April to begin at the end of April, beginning of May. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm thinking of, but we just have to wait and see. The one thing I can promise you guys is they will tell me stuff. They will give me insider info. They will tell me things and say, NDA, you're not allowed to discuss this with the people. But I'm telling you true when I say they never tell us shit about collabs. When they do, I let you guys know immediately. And that's why I'm able to tell you about some of those conversations. But collabs are always hush hush top secret because you're talking about an agreement with another company that wants to use the collab to make money and advertise. And imagine if we collabed with, I don't know, say something that's impossible, right? Say we collabed with Genshin Impact, right? And they agreed they were going to collaborate, and it was going to be the week of May 1st. That's when it was going to start. Genshin collab May 1st, right? Imagine if the Genshin community learned about the collab from an E7 forum. Imagine if we found out about the collab from a Facebook post on Genshin's Facebook page instead of from us. It would kind of suck the hype out of it, right? So they agree. It's like, we're going to collab on this certain date. The advertising release date is here at this time, and that's when we can let people know so everybody can inform their communities, drop their promos, and min-max their advertising dollars, right? Drive people to their content and advertise the way they want to do it. And that's why things like collab leaks, that's why the leak of the Overlord collab was disastrous. It may be, that kind of stuff can jeopardize your ability to get other collabs because you don't want to be the IP that can't keep its mouth shut about a contractual collab agreement. So yeah, they don't tell anybody. And if they do, the people they do tell get the shit NDA'd out of them. So non-disclosure agreement so that it doesn't get leaked. So yeah, anything I tell you about a collab is true tinfoil hat theory stuff. Because, they won't tell me any more than they will respond to an email and tell you guys. Because if they told me and I went and made a video and said, guys, Hooga Booga Bar over at Smilegate just told me the collab is Demon Slayer, then Hooga Bar is going to find himself out of a job and in court where he's going to get sued for breach of NDA. Yeah, we all know Blythe, right? We all know that 77771. That was too obvious. It was too clear. I didn't even know the Overlord collab got leaked. Smilegate put up an announcement about a hint for a collab, and the idiot that did it left all kinds of stuff about Overlord in the source code of the web page. So somebody just went into developer mode, viewed the source code, and there's all kinds of shit about Overlord in it. And of course, the content creators grabbed a hold of that and ran like crazy. I didn't because I don't like spoilers, but like I think Genozod and Kana were the first to release it, and then a couple of others, and they took it down within a half an hour, but too late. Once it's on the internet, it's forever. And I'm sure the Overlord people reached out to Smilegate and was like, the fuck, guys? So yeah. That was a very unfortunate leak. The good news is that leak was only a couple of days in advance of the actual announcement, right? That leak hit like on a Tuesday, and the announcement was on Thursday. So it wasn't that terrible, all things considered. It's not like it got leaked a month early, but it did kind of take, when they finally released the post, like, it's Overlord! And the community's like, we know! Just kind of took some of the fire out of it. Is Light Piece Corinne good to build? She is a good answer to a lot of problem units, but she's a situational counter pick, and when those situations arise, you'll be glad you have her. But she's a spanner wrench, right? Right? You got your toolbox. She's a spanner wrench in your toolbox. 9 out of 10 times you're reaching for hammers and screwdrivers and wrenches, but on the situations where you need a spanner wrench, you'll be glad it's in your toolbox. You aren't going to use it very often, but you're glad it's there. That's last piece, Corinne. What if I took... what took the fire out of it was the absolute asinines. I to this day, I have no idea why they did my boy Ines like that. I don't blame the leakers. I blame Smallgate because they... Oh, no, I don't blame the leakers at all. First of all, we were not under an NDA. You kidding me? Genethod and Kana together probably made $200-300 off of those videos alone. That was prime stuff. And if they didn't do it, somebody else would have. It's not, you know, I have covered leaks myself on other stuff because like it's out there. I can't not talk about it. All I can do is kind of run some defense on it. But yeah. It is what it is. Is there any good collab units used to this day? Albedo was the strongest RGB knight in the game. Crow kind of is taking some of her spotlight away. She was heavily used. Shaltir found some really good uses, especially in Guild Wars, to deal with Flan. I still use Shaltir against Afternoon Stoke Flan in Guild Wars. Rem is still top tier for Wyvern and PvE. Handful of people still use Biken for Banshee, but not that many. I still use Roy heavily in Arena, but I'm one of like 6 people that does that. That's about it. Collab units are designed... Oh, and once in a while, Karena will pop out of the woodwork. Collab units are designed to be meta as fuck for about 9 to 18 months, right? You want to pull them because when collab units hit, they are freaking everywhere and they're a problem to deal with. And then they get power crept and fade away and aren't that important. The issue is they're artifacts. Unlike the unit, the artifacts can just keep going to the next power crept thing, and our artifacts wind up being eternal. Albedo's starting to fall off. 3F is as strong as ever. Rocket Punch Gauntlet was used long after Karena Sun had started setting on Karena. Benimaru's Tachi was OP when Benimaru never was. Guardian Ice Crystal is still used even now that Elena is practically a relic and only used in some PvE here and there. So I like that this class system has come up with a way to let us get at old collab artifacts, because nobody cares about having dupes of the collab units, right? Some people are sad they missed a collab. Usually when people say, I really want Espa to rerun, it's because they want Karena. They don't want some rando unit that looks like Enot with Karena's kit. There's ways to do Karena-style things without Karena herself in-game. Kit-wise, it's okay, but nobody is like, I can't play the game because I can't use Karena's kit. People are like, I hate that I missed it because I love Espa and I really want Karena on my team. Roy Mustang's the GOAT, and I really feel like I need Roy Mustang, not that I need some unit that looks like Pavel that can just do what Roy did. So making those units, making generic versions of those units, it's not something they're going to do, because of the 3 kinds of people, they're only selling to that third market. The people who feel like the kit's important for some reason and they want the kit. The people who want the unit because they like the unit, they aren't going to pull for it because it's not the same unit. And the people who already have the unit, they aren't going to pull for it because they already have the main unit. And they have to come up with some esoteric mechanic to keep people from stacking it so you aren't fighting 2 Albedos at the same time. It's just... it doesn't make good financial or gameplay sense for them to make generic versions of the unit. But making generic versions of the artifact, that makes sense. And that it looks like they're finally doing. Yeah, we're a small buff from Euphine. Small buff to Euphine away from turning her into Jacko. Right? Little bit of a buff that adds something equivalent to Chains of Chiron to her as a passive. No one's ever going to use Jacko again. I mean, other than elemental reasons, right? Did I say Elena? I meant Amelia. The brain of a child elf girl that made me very uncomfortable. One that Subaru was all drooling over. I'm like, dude, she thinks you get pregnant from kissing and she pinky swears. Maybe you go find somebody who's an adult. What's my favorite car? You give 1932 Ford Hot Rod vibes. I would take it. Wouldn't the market for generic versions be newer players? Newer players aren't going to care about... Okay, let's say I make Biken, but not Biken. Let's say I make a new version of Biken. We'll call her, I don't know, Boken. I make Boken. Who's going to pull for her? What new players are going to go, wow, this kit looks ass. It's going to let me one-shot Banshee. Well, I can just take Fene and press auto, or Young Senya and press auto, or Schneal and press auto, and that's done. She's not very fast. She doesn't do a lot of bleeds. She's really fragile. She doesn't have a survival mechanics. Everybody's saying she's D tier. Why should I pull this? Well, we've got Albubo. Albubo's a strong knight, got lots of mitigation, kind of looks just like a crappier version of Crow. Maybe I'll just save my bookmarks and pull for Crow instead. I mean, it's not, it's not a, and even if the unit was really, really good, if your market is new players, your market is very small. You're going to think like this. Say you're Net Marble guy, all right? You're a Net Marble guy, and your guy comes to you and says, check this out. Here's our new big titty dragon waifu mama that is got a super OP kit. She's smoking hot. She rides a motorcycle, and everybody's going to want to pull her. And there's nothing like her in the game currently. She's going to be the meta, and everybody's going to want it. Or I made a copy of Amelia. She's the exact same thing as Amelia. Kind of out of the meta. Not a lot of people are going to be interested in her, but there's a handful of people that missed Amelia who might feel like the kit's kind of useful for some PvE. No one else is going to pull for her. They cost the exact same amount of money to make and develop and put into the game. Which one do you want me to make? What do you think Net Marble guy's going to pick? Mage's pretty smart with money. They aren't smart with a lot of things, but they're pretty smart when it comes to money. And making units is tough in this game. The 3D modeling, the way the unit engine works, the effort and voice acting and animations and story and interactions they put into it. It's not like Brave Exvius or Summoner's War where, it's just a little bit of skin and a little bit of lore, and the kit's the hardest part. They put a lot of effort into making the stuff in this game, and you're talking months of development time to come out with a unit. Yeah, that's the crazy thing, right? Fire Crow, Epic 6, all this stuff's been cooking since probably September, October. Nah, Fene's great. She's so good I got 2 of her. I'm a rank 19 new player, and I got Harsetti in 1 pull. Congrats on winning the game, Space Mouse. You're now the most hated person in Arena. And the more you play her, the more you're going to notice that you don't get invited to parties and people stop talking when you show up. I'm kidding, of course. She is really, really good on Arena and Guild War defense. So you can put her, just having her on the team is going to have you help win some fights. Offense-wise, she will allow you to climb up in RTA on the rare occasion she's not pre-banned. The biggest problem with Harsetti and RTA, she's got like an 85% ban rate. It's almost impossible to get her onto the team and through the draft. For regular PvE, I mean, she does have a defense break and extra attacks. That can be nice, but you're not going to find a lot of uses. Excuse me. You're not going to find a lot of uses for her in PvE. But yeah, she is considered a high A tier, low S tier unit. She is very, very good ML5. And congrats on getting her. She's kind of got a future-proof kit, and she'll always be around in one form or another. By the way, when's Smallgate going to announce the art contest winner? I don't know. I don't know. One would think that would be out by now, right? Do we know who's in the ML selector? No one. Because there is no ML selector. It's just a regular, random... You click the button and any ML5 can jump out. That is probably Harsetti and earlier. It's usually a 6-month window. But you don't get to pick on the ML. It's literally just... you could get Opsig, you could get your 14th Last Rider Crowl when he's the only ML you have. It's just random. But yeah, I would say anybody that came out Harsetti and earlier is probably on it. And yeah, and dupes are definitely possible. Art contest one usually takes months to be announced. There's twice as many winners this time, so there's a chance it'll be longer. Yeah, I realize they got to reach out to the person. They got to ask them the questions. They got to take the art to experts to vet it to make sure it's not AI generated. They've got to talk to the person, get their particulars. They got to have the lawyers draw up the paperwork that says we have the right to this art and have the other guy sign and notarize and send it back so that the other guy can't say, Smallgate used my art without my permission. You know, they got, you know, a lot of T's to dot and I's to cross, and they got to do that for multiple people this time. It's probably going to take a couple weeks, or a few weeks, if not a couple of months. So give it some time. And then once it's decided, you're into that 4 to 6 month development window to actually make the skin. So whoever wins, you ain't seeing that shit in game until November, December kind of range at best. Probably 2026. Is FCC buffed? They are doing a Fallen Cecilia buff on the 10th. Yeah. This coming Friday. Defiance device is so stupid. You notice how nobody has died? I pulled New Moon Luna, and I'm thinking of stripping ML Payra's gear. I think of stripping ML Payra all the time. She has 281 speed, hit yay or nay. You really want your ML Luna to have immunity. I think a 270 Luna with immunity is better than a 280 Luna with no immunity. Just putting that out there. If you're wanting to use her in any kind of competitive way. If you're just taking her into Guild Wars or Arena, where you've got a known situation and you know you don't have to worry about her, like, taking it in the ear from a Zeo, then you can go ahead and go no immunity. But if you're wanting to actually use her in an RTA situation, you don't put immunity on that unit, you're going to regret it sooner or later. My friend wants Breenus. When is she releasing? Breenus will be on banner at the same time as Wretched Rose, so keep an eye out for that. I think she's scheduled right after the Queen DN banner and the Moms of E7 event. Man, when are we going to get a Moms of E7 event, right? Payra's mom, Senya's mom. Oh my god. Who is the baguette lady that was Ilanov's mom? We need that mom too. We need a Moms of the freaking the MILF event. They could do it around Mother's Day. It would be so freaking pog. Yeah, Breenus is kind of like the meme of Epic 7, isn't she? Oh, oh no. Arsetti. We will get Queen DN, I bet. Here's the thing, though. Why would they put out Queen DN when Queen DN doesn't exist? Queen DN is only Queen because of Epic 7. Epic 6? She wasn't even a nut. I mean, she was like a nobody in the convent. Right? They just picked her and propped her up as a figurehead nun to try to get people to believe in the goddess again during the time of darkness while Rast slept. And that means Diene was never queen. That means she never... I don't know if you're part of the conspiracy theory that believes that Crow is Aether's dad. She never had a chance to hook up with the captain of the guards. She never really met Bosk. She was never assigned Bosk as a... Yeah. I bet if we run into Diene, she's gonna be like a rando NPC working at a freaking convent, scrubbing the floors. I want a playable version of the NPC that heals your team on the home screen. She's a little creepy. Isn't Diene Aether Bulge's mom? Do we know what we need to do to get the ML5 tickets? It's going to be things like, log in, do all. They're going to have us jump through hoops, right? That's why they said max at the end of the number of tickets you'll get. It's like you aren't just going to get these tickets. That's the maximum you can get if you jump through all these hoops. And it's going to be stuff like, play to this stage of the event, complete this part of the story. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be like the dash event. There's just going to make you do things that are effectively playing the game. Yeah, exactly, Rasta. Exactly. I used to think Bosk was Aether's dad, you see, but the timeline doesn't work out. Diene sealed the Archdemon, and then 25 years later, Ross woke up. That means, Diene, who was like 16, 17 when she was the saint who sealed the Archdemon, she's now in her late 30s, early 40s. Aether's only like what, 13, 14? Aether's just a kid. 10? Yeah, he's a child. So Bosk died like 10 years before Aether was even conceived. 10, 15 years before Aether was even conceived. So it ain't Bosk. Aether does look a lot like Crow, though. Just saying. He is kind of a playboy. Crow always shows up and was always like bringing toys and shit for Aether, always doing stuff for Aether. Maybe a little bit of guilt for being an absentee dad. There's also that rando guy during the intro. You know who I'm talking about, right? When you first fire up Epic 7 for the first time and they're playing through the intro scene, there's this guy chilling out in the background that's an older guy. He's not Charles, but he looks a little like Charles, but he's kind of got a main character kind of a look to him, but they never really identify him. And I'm just like, I always wonder if that was, Aether's dad, if that was, Diene's king, and then they just kind of wrote him out. They decided not to run with it. Better to start now or on April 10th? Now. You start now, you grind through as much of the adventurous path as you can. You get free stuff, and then April 10th rolls around, you will still get Assyria, you'll still get Song of Stars. So you can actually start with a new 5-star unit that's not Assyria, that's not Song of Stars, and then boom, you will get those on April 10th, so you get everything. So at least that's my understanding, is that if the account was made after January 1st, you get Assyria and Song of Stars. So you can do that, do the selective summon, get a 5-star unit there, go through as much of the adventurous path as you can, go through as much of the adventure as you can, double up on those resources. No way you'll get it done by the 10th, but you can get a good chunk out of that done, and then everything resets and you get some more stuff. So yeah, there's every reason to start now and double dip as much as you can. Learn the story, enjoy it, and if I am terribly, terribly wrong, and it turns out you don't get Assyria, you don't get Song of Stars, that you cheated yourself out of some really good stuff, reset and start a new account on the 10th and get all that stuff for free on the 10th, right? It's only 4 days of wasted time, and you'll be able to go in with the new account with a little bit of knowledge as to how the game works. So there's really no reason to not jump in right now. Is there really a character like that on the intro? You just joking? Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. 6, 7. Intro.
Hey, Tristen, which limited do you think had the best story?
Which limited had the best story, DN? I'm sorry, guys. I got to mute this because I will get the crap demonetized on YouTube because Smaugate loves using DMCA music. The Eulogy for a Saint side story is heckin' amazing. Like, how dark is this, right? Aether crying. What the fuck happened where everybody is being hung by the neck outside? Who are these people that betrayed and made Aether crying? Like, where is this story with the ravens feasting on the corpses and Charles looking at them, right? Dark. The furry bar. Man, the art style in E7's changed a lot, hasn't it? Oop, I missed it. Hang on. Where'd my cursor go? Who dat? Who dat over here? Who dat behind Aether? Who's got the same hair color as Aether? Right? They never really go into him. So there's a conspiracy theory that that's Aether's dad. He kind of got written out of the story. Ilanov number 2. Oh, hey, Eaton, you got more HP than Ilanov. You get in there. Oh, let's get some good DPSs in here. Let's see. Fast units. Dual attacks and... Oop. You and... Sure, you. Go get them. Some random politician maybe. On stage, that close to the child leader of the kingdom. Random politicians don't get to stand that close to frickin' Trump when he's on stage. Are you kidding me? People were being hanged outside in the courthouse. Obviously, you don't hang people. You don't publicly execute unless it's a crime against the crown. They showed Kayron throwing freaking fireballs on the city. He's out there rallying the troops. Legions of armies are stacked up in military order, and he's out there inspiring and pumping a scepter. It's not like it's peacetime, and he's just like, hey, happy people. Ain't no freaking way that guy's not a high member of the court or a relative. Does the web event like Hunt? Does the web events like Hunt Challenge, Archie Freeskin Rage set will disappear? They aren't going to get rid of stuff that's wanted and needed. It's going to get replaced. It's going to get merged into the existing thing, replaced for something better or upgraded, right? They're the only things they're going to be getting rid of is shit that nobody wanted, right? Oh no, level 60 gears going away. Whatever will I do? Handful of people are like, well, this sucks. You know what's funny? You know what I've done for the past couple of days? I've been farming Wyvern 1. Yep, farming Wyvern 1. Anybody know why I've been farming Wyvern 1? Anybody want to take a shot at it? Yeah, exactly, Blythe. Could be a Royal Guard and stuff, but, you know, generally you don't just have one guard. You got like a lot of guards. I don't know. I just, it's an anime, right? I can't expect like real world accuracy. Level 27 helmets for my Tori. Level 27 helmet for a Tori. If you can only do 51% of Tori's health as damage, and if you can get Tori's health as low as possible, and you can do that through a level 27 helmet, you can get Tori's health down into the 4 or 5k range. That means the enemy can only do about 25 to 30 or 2500 to 3k damage per hit, and then you slap a 15k HP barrier on Tori. Good luck breaking that barrier when you can only do 3000 damage hits every time you hit her. Yeah, the old T-Sir and cheese. You got it. You got it. I'm not saying I'm going to play Tori like that, but I want to have the option. So those helmets are going into my storage. Don't overthink it about it anyway. Aether looks more like a girl than a boy. Aether was originally supposed to be a girl. They in that intro footage, it's pretty clear they drew Aether as a girl, right? But they rewrote him as a boy for reasons. Originally, the love interest of Ross was supposed to be Tenebria, and Ross and Tenebria go out into the world. Tenebria was a princess, and Aether was the prince. And the Princess Tenebria went off with Ross to defeat the Archdemon, and became his love interest. And they just like cooked it up and changed it. Don't ask me why. I was not on the writer room floor. This is the last floor, right? This is floor 25. Yeah, this is the last floor. Okay, everything's almost dead anyway, so let's get rid of you. Who is my next highest HP unit? We're just going to abuse 28. Surely I can do better than that. Come on, where's the shift? There we go. 35, belly in, get in there, baby. And Bologna's because they're hot. I thought Aether was a girl. Shows how much lore I know. Nope. Is that a 3F Bellion? Yeah, it's a 35k health one, so it is. Oh shit, he didn't have any health left anyway. You got Defiance Device. You can literally just run one unit and keep putting in your highest HP units and eventually chew through everything. Defiance Device is like a cheat code. All right, guys. Oh, must have already paid out. Where is it? Ooh, piece of candy. Ah, there she is. Skin. Frame. Background. And there we go. How's it look? How's it look? How's it look? Sylvan Sage Vivian. Man, she all out there, isn't she? It's really, really pretty. And I like the base one better. It's a lot of packed problems. That is true. Ooh, piece of candy. Looks like a different character. It still looks like Vivian. Just, I I don't know. Maybe I'm just don't like change. I don't know. Some people love it, and for those people, I'm happy. Me, kind of meh about it. One thing I'm pushing for, and I don't know that they will ever cave on it, but I'm pushing for them to change it so that if you get to Masters, you get a special ticket that lets you select any RTA skin, current or past, so that people who really, really like the Cermia skin, but aren't so keen on like the Vivian skin, could choose the Cermia skin with it. Knowing good and well that it'll go in the shop faster, but still gives them the option, because this far in, having them in the shops is rough. I mean, a lot of people would want the Spectre Tenebria skin, would want the Lionheart Cermia skin, would want the Last Rider Kraus skin, would even want the Arby skin. It's too much to just buy. And that gives them a way to say, you know what, I don't even own Sylvan Sage Vivian, but I'm gonna go ahead and push for Masters because that will get me one of the skins per unit that I do own. I think it would be a nice quality of life. Hit Masters 2 times, like make it a great achievement. Is that what you're saying? If I was to start today and prep for the 10th, who would I go for in the reroll banner? Destine or Fire Ravi. You already get Tam, who's a strong healer. You already get a Saria, who's a strong support. You got Free Spirit Tyria, who's a good wave mob clear. You'll be able to like clear a lot of the, you know, multi-mob stage clearing kind of stuff. But having a bossing character and somebody who can shoehorn you into RTA is something you don't really start out with. Somebody who can shoehorn you into Guild Wars. And Ravi being able to self-heal, her bruiser nature, she's going to use gear that none of the other units use. She's a nice one to start. And Destina gives you access to revive. And that's something you also don't get starting out. And Destina's getting a buff, so I don't know. I would be a little torn between the two of those. I think it just depends on where you want to take your account. Yo, Tristan, could you see my ML Ludwig build? My Discord is acting up. It's in the ML Ludwig build. It's in the ML Ludwig builds like the last one. Oh, you put it in my build section? Let me take a look here. Music, please. Banger. Build discussion. I am not seeing it, anime lover. Sorry. Can you DM it to me? Or post a link to it in chat and I'll just click on the link? A month ago, I think it was a bad idea for monetization, but after the Tamaskin abuse, sure, small games humble themselves now. Anyone know when the last region in the side store is going to open? I hate that's been gated. They all open, my friend. Like now, it's open now, and it's only got a few days left. You should get in there and do it. With the 10 foot tall maids. Now that Emma Celine loses her cleanse on S1, should we change our builds to ER immunity? Maybe. Japan certainly will. Oh wait, I can roll this this microphone. Okay, guys, wish me luck. Show me top 3 stats. Nice. Nice. Okay, let's keep doing that. Top 3 stats. Go. Oh, god damn it. Friggin' effectiveness. Okay, what's gonna save this? A big roll into speed could save this, getting this to 16. A big roll into ER could save this. Anything else kind of bricks it. So something strong in the middle. Go. God damn it. Oh well, now it's shit. Rip. Well, I guess a PvE unit will enjoy it. It could go, I could put it on my PvE Tamarin. No, you never re-roll a piece that's got a landmine stat. You only ever use mod boxes on pieces that don't have landmine stats and that just rolled low. The only time you use scam boxes is when perfect subs, but it rolled low. Using a mod box on something with a landmine stat like effectiveness, a great way to invite disappointment into your life. Okay, guys, let's, do I really want to do this now that we've been on so long? How long have we been streaming now? A little over an hour. We'll have to breeze through it quick. You guys want to help me put together this unit tier list? Hey, Tristen, can I check the DMs? He sent me some builds. Yeah, sure. Then we need to get into this. Let's see here. You're going with a fast Celine on Dust Devil. See, here's the weird thing. I still think Storm Sword might be her best. The attack is wasted, but the CR push on Storm Sword is so good. But at this speed, you could probably get away without Storm Sword and really light some people up with this. Yeah, I think this is good. I like this build. It's solid. It'll definitely kill whatever it hits. This looks a lot like my Rylet, and I think he's still just gonna die. Let's see, where's my Rylet? They did all these buffs for Rylet and then immediately ran around and buffed other units to completely nerf Rylet back into the ground. Lifesteal version. This one. So let's see. 32 by 280, and I'm 39, but you're a lot faster. You're 240, I'm 178. Tankiness is about the same. I'm on the better artifact. This is okay. Yeah. Let me know if this works out for you. My concern is that he's fast, but he's not going to do enough damage to kill in most cases. You're playing games with this crit chance. I don't know. He's already such a hard unit to use. You don't have penetration on him. So your damage is even lower. I just don't think he's going to kill anything. The speed is nice. I just don't think he's going to kill anything. Yeah, I agree with Monster Doom. I think you drop your speed and get some real damage on him, because if Rylet doesn't kill, he gets killed. Especially in a world with anti-pen, anti-crit, anti-evasion, anti-everything that's the edgelord. You're just reducing the number of places you can pick him. The Celine is really nice, but I think the Rylet kind of stinky. This inner. All right, guys, you want to help me put together this tier list? So RGB Selector units. Here, let's get rid of these not in pool. Let's just get rid of the collab units first. Oh, no. Damn, we have a lot of collab units that are never going to come back, huh? Not Roy. Rimuru, Ram. Kiss. There. Shaltir did her dirty. Espa, and Espa. And then limited units are not on the list. Holy crap, this is a lot of freaking units. And Xeno's not limited, but he's not a summonable character, so we get rid of him. Okay, so that gets rid of the not in the pool. So let's keep this really simple, right? Just like the last one. Let's have a must-haves tier. Let's have a really heckin' strong tier. And let's have a meh collector slash niche tier, right? So this is where, like, you know, the unit's waifu, you want the unit, or you're trying to build something specific and you want to do it, and this is just needs a buff to be relevant tier. So I guess what we're going to be suggesting is you only use your selector on the top 2 rows, and that if you don't have the units, you go ahead and get them out of the bottom rows, but they're actually probably dupes that would be better. Remember that things can be in the needs a buff to be relevant tier, and they get a buff, and suddenly they're freaking relevant. I will point out the most obvious example. Where is he here? What's wrong with my filters? Nothing wrong with my filters. Why am I not seeing him? No, there he is. Remember this guy? Where is he now? So just because he is just because the unit's down here doesn't mean it's garbage. If you got every unit on the list, maybe you go ahead and pick something from down here because it's you know, might get a Mort buff down the road. Okay, so first we'll go with Abigail. I'm going to breeze through these quickly because there are so damn many. Is the RGB selector fully decked out? It is not. It is just an RGB selector, just like you randomly pulled it from your daily summons. Okay, so we're going to start with Abigail. Abigail is one of the better units for a relatively new player to get who is trying to break into RTA. Abigail is an easy ticket to a master skin. I wouldn't say easy, but she is a key for it. She will make a lot of story content a lot easier. Her ability to keep the background unit alive is crazy. Great for Guild Wars. Very, very underestimated, underrated unit for a relatively new player into the late game. Alencia has proven herself pretty strong. I wouldn't go so far as to say she's a must-have, but if you've got young Senya, Alencia is really, really good. Her buffs have made her a great injury unit. Araminta is actually quite strong, but not so strong. I think she's a must-have. The changes to RTA with burns and attack getting all boosted up and red, green, blue getting stronger. Maybe she's going to see more use in RTA, but I just don't think she is all that. Arya is a must-have unit if you're a new player. Arya is key to some of the easiest ways to farm PvE. She is simultaneously the hardest and the easiest unit to gear in the game. I know, the paradox, the duality of Arya. A PvE Arya is easy to gear and will let you solo many Abyss floors, will let you do the fastest, easiest one-shot on Wyvern. But when you want to transition her for use in PvP, using her in Guild Wars, using her in RTA, she suddenly has a very, very high build requirement. It's much harder, probably arguably the hardest unit to gear in the game for PvP. But for PvE, so anybody tells you like, oh, don't get Arya, she's hard to gear, they're talking about RTA. All right, they're not talking about Wyvern 13. They're not talking about autoing Abyss 101. They're not talking about for use in Nightmare Arahakan. Oh, not Arahakan, but Karkanis. They're talking about PvP. So she's a good hero to get, an investment hero. I think she's a must-have unit. Arunka needs a buff to be relevant. Balin Sazan needs a buff to be relevant. He only has one place in the game right now, and that is Green Expeditions, and he is replaceable there. And you don't really need an expedition team, let's be real. Basar needs a buff to be relevant. Bihu is Bihu's a strong opener, but he's not so strong I want to recommend him. I'm going to put him in the niche collectors tier. Bihu is, a couple seasons ago, I was running people over with Bihu. Maybe the changes to Arena are going to improve his usages, but right now it's kind of not all that. Bologna is a very strong PvE unit, but that's pretty much it. Just PvE. Brigida is probably the worst 5-star unit in the game and the most likely to get a Giga buff. So if you're an investment hero and a redhead enthusiast, respect picking Brigida and hoping for a buff. Surely it's coming. Buff all redheads, Smilegate. Bomb Model Kana is a really strong unit for use in PvE, but she's a connection hero. So I would recommend not getting her. Even though she is really strong, you can get her through connections, so why get a second one? Brieg is a must-have unit, but I will caution you that you get him at the end of the Adventurous Path for free, and although they're retooling all of that, and some people are panicked that if they don't get their Brieg now, that they're not going to be able to get him after the update when they take away Adventurous Path. Guys, Epic 6 will allow Brieg to be in there, okay? They will have whatever their new player thing is, their new Adventurous Path thing is. Brieg will be in there. The entire community would riot if they took Brieg away. So trust, he will still be there. So I strongly recommend you do not select Brieg because he's free. All right, I'm not going to bother making a free tier. You guys know better. And if you're watching this in video form, you're hearing me say it. Don't select Brieg. He is a must-have unit, but you get him for free. But people are stupid, and people don't listen. Right? You get it free tier. Bomb Model Connie, you get it free. Brieg, you get it free. There. Okay? Because nobody heckin' listens. Fire Cecilia used to be really heckin' strong in RTA, and then she fell down to just kind of a niche collector unit. Because at least she was good in expeditions, and then Brieg came along and stole all of her jobs, and now she needs a buff. Like Bal and Sazan, she's only used in one expedition. Celine, I think, is a must-have unit if you ever want to get into the PvP of this game. In Arena, she's really strong. In Guild Wars, she's really strong. In RTA, she is one of the most useful tools in the toolbox. Early game, she won't do a lot for you. But she's an investment hero, and once you hit mid-game, she's a really good pickup. And if you have any designs on getting your master skin next season, playing an RTA, things like that, you're going to want to have her. When is the selector coming? April 10th is when the update goes live, and the conditions to get the selector will be announced. I suspect it'll probably take, a couple of days to get your first selector and a couple of weeks to get your last selector. They're definitely going to make you jump through hoops. It's not just going to be like, April 1st is here, get to summoning. There's going to be things you have to do. Fire Sermia is amazing and hot and a redhead, and you get her for free. Charles needs a buff. Charles is basically Ice Shoe, and Ice Shoe hasn't been good for a while. Charlotte needs a buff. She is good early on. Good early on because of her AoE hits. She's good for clearing some content, but once you've kind of gotten past story, there's not a lot you're going to do with Charlotte. Chloe is... I'm going to chill Chloe right out here with Brigida. She is close to being the worst unit in the game. Shu is used to be really heckin' strong. Shu, where do we put her now? She can still carry in some really early Guild Wars, and late game she's good in... the Executioner Karkanis fight. She's a small buff away from being strong. I'm going to leave her up here. She's kind of like on the line between these two fields. I'll leave her at the very end of really strong. Command Model Leica is hard to build and hard to keep alive. I think she's a collector's unit at best. Destina, I think, is a must-have unit early game. being able to have Destina on your team is a safety net. Bringing all your units back to life after you died feels so good when you're doing crap like Abyss or trying to get through harder story content. And once you get into early RTA, you'll be glad you have her as a reviver unit. She's getting a buff, solid unit. Ida is really strong early game, but she falls off a lot mid game. I'm going to put her at the top of the collector niche unit. She really kind of needs a little bit more something to be in modern damage. Elena is a really heckin' strong unit. You should have one. Elegos. Here's the thing, guys. Though Elegos feels like a must-have unit, people who look at tier lists for advice typically don't have the gear to build an Elegos. People who have the gear to build an Elegos don't need to look at tier lists for advice. I'm going to put him at the front of really hecking strong. If you're playing RTA, he is a monster and one of the better freaking units in the game. Really, really good into Guild Wars and Arena, but he is a late game unit, right? If you've not been playing this game for over a year and a half, you probably don't have what it takes to make a banger Elegos. So I'm going to put him in the really strong unit, and I caution when you pull him, make sure you can build a good Elegos. Elvira is very, very niche, and her niche is killing children. If you know, you know. Ervalin needs a buff. Nobody likes Prince Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Fene is probably one of, if not the most important PvE units in the game, and you pick her up if you can get her. Fenris really needs a buff to be relevant. Flan is... I'm sorry, Flan. I'm really sorry. But you need a buff to be good in this game again. Fumir is strong, but you have to know how to play the game at a pretty high level. She's got a lot of conditions, a lot of tricks, and a lot of requirements. And if you're relatively new, you almost need to take a freaking college course on how to apply Fumir. So she's a very niche unit. She is strong. She's up here for people who are in the know. She's down here for newer players. She's an investment hero. You got to learn how to use her. Haste is one of the better PvE units. You're not going to have any use for him outside of PvE, but you will find metric F tons of use for him in PvE. So good, he's almost up here. But I'm not going to put him up here because people will lose their ever-loving shit if I put Haste in the must-have group. So I'm going to put him here towards the top of really, really strong. Heals on his S2, defense breaks on his S1 and S3, does shit tons of damage. You will find uses for him in Nightmare Raid at endgame, and early game he will walk you through a lot of the Abyss, help you out with a lot of story content, and whatever new transitory content comes out, like advents or special events, Haste is always freaking featured. Hua Young, here's the thing. I would have said Hua needs a buff to be relevant, but I think with the changes to the arena system, Hua is actually quite strong now. I think we're going to start to see Hua Young being used more and more with the 1500 boost to attack and the removal of the the entire reason the whole RGBs do less damage against opposite element was to slow Hua down. So the changes to RTA are a direct buff to RTA Hua. So I think she is actually going to have some niche uses. Why is Arya must-have? She is the most important PvE unit for clearing difficult content that's not named Fene. She is the easiest access to a Wyvern 13 one-shot. She lets you full auto multiple Abyss Floors. Full auto multiple Abyss Floors that are so hard people ask me for guides on them. Wouldn't Bihu be higher? Bihu can't just erase units from teams. And there are other units that do what Bihu does better. And these are not in any kind of order, left to right. I'm just kind of dropping them in. Ilanov needs a buff to be relevant. Immortal Wukong is very, very niche. Asaria is, I think, a must-have unit, but you get her for free. After April 10th, everybody who started an account January 1st and after should get Asaria and Song of Stars for free. If you do not have Asaria and you started your account before January 1st, you maybe select her because she enables a lot of crazy stuff in Epic 7. So pre-2025 people without Asaria, must-have unit. Post-2025 people, you get her for free. Savvy? Janua is really hecking strong. I would be tempted to put him in a must-have range for RTA, but outside of RTA and Guild Wars, I'm not sure if he's a must-have. What do you got? I think he's just really hecking strong. I think he is really hecking strong. I don't think he's a must-have. If you are into the idea of playing RTA, I think he's a must-have. But if you're not into RTA, I think he's just really heckin' strong. You guys think I'm crazy? Do you really think, like, as a brand new player or somebody who's been playing for a few months, that they just immediately go into Janua? He is a must-have for RTA, but RTA is somebody that you go, something you don't go into for the first, until like 5 or 6 months into the game. I think he's just really freaking strong. I'm going to leave it right here. Kane needs a buff. He's terrible. Kawaric needs a buff. He's not that good. Kairon needs a buff. He's not that good. Fire Ken is niche. You'll use him in Wyvern 13 one-shots, and that's about it. Kisei needs a buff. She's not that good. Krau is the strongest knight in the game. That's RGB, bar none. Krau's stock is through the freaking roof, even for PvP and for PvE. Having a good support knight who can also nuke and do damage, give you defense buffs, give you an AoE on a soul burn. You're going to find lots of uses for Krau in this game. Lidica is untested. Everybody thinks she's going to be a must-have for RTA, but we've been down that road before. Outside of RTA, maybe Guild Wars, maybe. I'm just going to put her in really strong for right now, but this is something where the best advice is, if you get a selector day one, you don't use it on anything until you've seen the impact of the balance patch, right? Can't you make the same argument for Celine and Janua? God damn it. When he's right, he's right. And he's right. And you know what? He's right. So Janua, because he is so critically important for RTA, we're going to put him in the must-have tier. If you have zero interest in RTA, then you can maybe give this guy a pass. But like Celine, Janua is key to getting a toehold in RTA and getting those master skins. Also really good in a lot of Guild War fights. So if you're brand spanking new, these two heroes you can kind of push off a little bit. They're not going to help you in the general progression of the game other than doing some serious bossing damage. But eventually, you're going to be very glad you have them when you start dipping your toes into Guild Wars, into Arena, into RTA. Fire Lilius has some very, very minor niche uses. Lilibet needs a buff. Lua, crazy as it sounds, Lua needs a buff. She's not really usable in any aspect of the game right now. I know you guys see me use Green Ludwig all the time in very abusive and horrible ways. That's me flexing my gear and doing some stupid fun stuff. It's so niche that I can't even call it niche. It's unique. It's a unique usage. For everyone else, Ludwig needs a buff. Lulica is really, really strong. I used to put her in the must-haves, but so many units like Fene have come out and Brieg have come out that her value's gone down. But the thing about Lulica is she does a little bit of everything. She's got a very diverse and complete kit. She's got attack buffs. She's got defense breaks. She's got barriers. She's got damage. She's got wear mage artifacts. She's got AoEs. She's got single targets. A little bit of everything. My favorite description of Lulica is she's the girl that everybody says is hot, but then nobody invites to the dance, right? And that's the truth of it, right? When you're getting ready to go to the dance, there's always somebody more hot out there to take. But if you have her, she is plug and play to solve problems. Just so many good PvE solutions have come out that she's kind of fallen downside, right? She used to be basically girl Haste, right? Haste did all the PvE stuff with fire, and Lulica did all the PvE stuff with ice. And both of them have been kind of replaced with PvE options. Brieg does barriers, Brieg does defense breaks. Brieg stole most of her jobs. If a fire Brieg ever came out, haste would fall off too. Melissa, a very, very niche unit. Very good, but hard to use. Brieg, must-have unit. If you want to piss people off in Arena, if you want to climb an RTA, if you want to just be really good in Guild War, even some PvE usages, Brieg, easy to build, hard to fight against. I think Brieg is responsible for more phone screen repairs than any unit in the game. Brieg. Mort. Good lord. In case I turn this to a video, let me just again. Mort is a must-have unit. Mort is responsible for more phone screens being repaired because people like they play against Mort, they go, damn it. So if you want to have the ability to really piss off your opponents in PvE, in PvP, right? Arena, Guild War, RTA, Mort is a banger unit. He's easy to build. He can be built several different ways, and he even has some PvE usages. So if you don't have Mort, add him to the list. Good pickup. Mui should be here. You look at Mui's kit and it's insane. Mui has got target. She is one of the only non-rangers that can target. She has got defense breaks and attack down. Like, her entire kit screams PvE, but like Lulika, she just, okay, we got fire Lulika, we got ice Lulika, and now we got earth Lulika. Units that look like they'd be really strong in PvE that just aren't usable because there are better options. I think she just needs a buff. She needs a stronger buff. More buffs. Knockwall used to be a must-have for RTA. I'm not even sure I would qualify her as really strong. I'm gonna leave her here because there are situations where I think having a Knockwall in hand is good, but outside of RTA, she doesn't have a lot of uses. Pavel is niche to needs a buff range. I'll put him at the end of niche collector. Peyra. Goddamn Peyra. Peyra's a must-have as an ML Peyra imprint. I'm kidding. Peyra's a must-have because of the ML Peyra skin. Can we even say Peyra is really strong anymore? I really think she's just kind of moved down to a collector unit. This could change. She's really, really fast. I'm going to put her beside Knockwall. I mean, she's an opener, a fast opener. It's just really hard to use. Yeah, she is not the fast. She's one speed away from the fastest RTA unit in the game. Fire Politis used to be a must-have because interrupting CR pushing was important. She used to be such a must-have, people built 2 of her. I think we're going to hang out here with the Celine Janua team. I think RTA is going to be very, very CR manipulation cleave heavy this season, right? And RGB units are getting a boost, and you really need some answers to being cleaved. So if you don't like being cleaved and you want to play RTA, Politis is a must-have for your account. Is she really a must-have? No, she's not, guys. She's not. Here's the thing about Politis. Politis, there used to be multiple ways to build her. You could do a damage Politis, or you could do a interruption Politis, and damage Politis has kind of fallen by the wayside. She's just not tanky enough or strong enough. She's really good at stopping CR manipulation, and that's very important, especially if you don't have Abyssal Euphine, who's just a better answer. If you don't have Abyssal Euphine, her value goes up, but when you're ready to start doing RTA, having an anti-cleave Politis is really, really good. Somebody built tanky with tons of effectiveness and effect resistance will help keep the enemy from doing horrible things to you. She used to be a must-have, but there are just better answers, and she isn't the interrupter she used to be. Rand's right here beside Para. Rand used to be the fastest RTA opener. In fact, he still is the fastest RTA opener, but using Rands in a modern meta is very difficult. All three of these I'm tempted to move down a tier, but I'm going to leave them here for right now because the changes to the frenzy system might breathe a little bit life back into these openers. But for right now, man, I took my Rand gear off and put it on Eligos. Ravi is pretty close to a must-have for brand new players. She is a great way to get into RTA, but once you get to the mid-late game, she's going to fall down to the strong. I'm going to chill her out right here beside Abigail. If you're a brand new player, Ravi is a great unit, one that's nice to pick up from the selector. Not this selector, but the hey, I just started selector. If you started before the 10th, but she falls off a little bit late game, but she will carry you in a lot of up to Masters RTA matches. She will help out a lot in Arena, and she's great for bossing with her self-healing and bruiser nature. When you've gotten to the point where you've got to focus kill a bad guy, she's a really nice unit to have on the team. Ray's just terrible. Rowanna's a must-have unit, guys. In fact, she's probably the most must-have. I don't know if Fenny is. She's probably the she's very important. You want to have Rowanna. She's important for just about everything PvE related, and with Seaside Bologna making a comeback after her buffs. And with Seaside Bologna making a comeback after her buffs, I think you're going to find Rowanna is a really nice counter pick. Schneel is kind of a niche unit. Schneel only has one job, and that's going into DDR. DDR is very prevalent. When DDR is on the board, Schneel's up here. When DDR is not on the board, Schneel's down here, and that makes him the definition of niche. She is specifically to counter one unit. Senya used to be up here with Abigail. Abigail was the best way to get Masters in RTA, but now there are better options. Senya really needs a buff. I know you guys have seen me do some fun things with Sez in regular Arena. Not so much anymore. That's niche on the level of Ludwig's niche. So I'm going to scooch him right down here beside Ludwig for so ridiculously niche that he's damn near impossible to use. Sharoon is kind of strong, but is RTA only and a little tricky to use. I'm putting her right beside Fumir. You better know what you're doing to build and use a Sharoon, right? Like Fumir, if you know what you're doing, these two can move up a tier, but if you don't know what you're doing, she's going to feel like ass. Sigrid is really, really good for Wyvern, and you get her for free. Teiyu is the best way to imprint your ML Teiyu. I'm kidding. There's going to be some Teiyu lovers who are saying, no, he's really, really, really strong. He is niche, and his niche is he is really, really strong if you're one of the 7 people who really likes playing Teiyu. And if you are, then you kick ass with them. And if you're not one of those 7 people, then he's kind of niche. Tamarin is the most important PvE Soul Weaver, not named Fene, in the game, and you get her for free. So we'll put her down here in the free units. Tenebria. If you love yoga pants and hot women with pink hair, she is a must-have unit. If you like evil villains who do horrible, horrible things to the main characters, then she is a must-have. If you are building for the meta and you want the most useful thing on your account, she is just kind of strong in the same way that Luluka and Haste are kind of strong. All right? She's got some decent PvE usages, but that's about it. All 3 of these units are on this strong tier because they have really strong PvE uses and not because you're going to use them in any kind of PvP. None of these units make any appearance in RTA or Guild Wars or Arena. These 3 units are all about clearing Abyss, handling story, dealing with, hey, brand new PvE content came out. Now it's time for you to guys go and kill this major boss. Hey, Ancient Inheritance is back and you're going to need tools to do this. New Labyrinth introduced. You're going to find uses for these units, expeditions, things like that. But if you're only picking from this list to build your RTA stuff, you don't look at these 3 units, right? Tywin is actually quite strong after his buff, but nobody uses him because Kral's just a better Ice Knight. Vildred is the only 5-star speed imprint in the game, and because of that, giga frickin' strong. Useful if you want to cleave. If you aren't pulling him for speed imprints, he kind of falls off. I'm going to drop him down into niche, and his niche is you need multiples of him for the speed imprint and to use his cleave support. Violet. Violet is... If I put him in needs a buff, then they're just going to make him 100% evasion, which is bad. But he's not even really niche. Violet needs a buff, guys. I'm sorry. Vivian is a really, really super strong PvE unit, but you get her for free. Down there with Sirmia you go. Euphine, her primary job was cheesing Labyrinth, and you can't do that anymore. And now I think... although she got a buff to basically be Jacko in RTA, you know what though? Maybe after her RTA buff, she'd be heckin' strong now. I'm gonna slide her here beside Green Pavel, right? She's just right on the cusp of needing a buff, but I think she's actually going to be pretty strong in PvE after the buff change, after the changes and after her buffs. Yulha is just niche. Yuna has got 1 really good PvE usage, and that's about it. So that's very niche. Zahak has got some minor PvE usages and minor PvP usages. So that's about it. And guys, that's it. There we go. That's my list. Now, in interest of sorting, let's sort this top tier real quick. Okay, done. Now, mind you, the top tier is a little bit dodgy. You got to make sure you are picking to your best interest. 90% PvE, 10% PvP. 90% PvE, 10% PvP. 80% PvP, 20% PvE. Depend if you build her at an insane gear score level, PvP. If you can't, if you're building her to a low gear score level, PvE. Mostly PvP, but does have some PvE usages. Used pretty much predominantly in PvE, but she's getting buffs and that might bring her back to PvP. 99% PvP usages. So be a little bit careful about who you pick, where you're wanting to, what you're wanting to play. Go back and listen to the descriptions of each one. Don't just look at the tier list and pick from left to right. Because some of these units are very hard to build and RTA only. Some of these units are very easy to build and PvE only. Some of these units are kinda has-beens, but could come back at any minute, but require insane gear. Some of these units are really, really good if they're paired with other units, but not so much on their own. Some of these units are solutions to problems, but not initiators. Some of these units are here because the buffs look good on paper, but we haven't really tested it yet. So consider all of these things before you go ham on it, and listen to my description of each unit before you choose. But there you go. That's my RGB selector tier list. The limited tier lists for the artifacts and the selectors are in a different video. You can check the description in this video for links to those. Hope this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You guys have a great rest of your week. All right, guys. Thank you so much for helping me build this tier list and for giving me a little bit of advice. Yuna is free. Is Yuna free? I thought they removed her from being free and put her on banner. I don't think she's still free anymore, is she? She is free. Okay, so Yuna does have some niche PvE usages, but you can do connections and get her for free. Luckily, she was the second for the last, so I can splice that in. Okay, thanks for letting me know that. I thought when they added her to the banner that they removed her from connections. My bad. Who do I pick if I have every RGB except Brigitte? You pick Brigitte and wait for her buff, or you start looking at ones that are worthy of having dupes. Fene is kind of fun to have a dupe. You can build a fast one and then a nuking one for PvE, like an RTA one and a PvE one. No real need for dupes on any of these. You can do a damage poly as well as a anti-cleave poly, but the damage polys are kind of on the way out, so I'm not sure having 2 of her is really worth it anymore. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. The only other one that I'm even close to thinking you might want a dupe of is where was she? I just thumbed across her. It is Rand. So you can have an RTA Rand and a PvE Rand, but with PvP Rand being on its way out and PvE Rand being pretty much wholly replaced by Yuna and Dizzy and Ida, I think that's it, man. I think that's it. I think at that point in time, you start looking at imprints and going, you know what? Go into your account and you want to go over to the sort button and you want to sort by memory imprints and reverse sort by memory imprints and start looking at your 5 stars that don't have imprints. Because remember, the first imprint is always more value, straight to 6%, and then it goes up in steps of 3. So start looking at your top most used MLs or units in general and decide which one you would like an imprint in. You know, it's okay to go to 6% health or 3.6% attack, but then it only goes up another 1.8% to get to the next tier. You get a lot out of that first imprint. So start looking at the units you don't have any imprints in and pick an imprint that way, or look at units where imprints are very, very important, but you're just a little bit shy on that last imprint, like units that give a crit chance imprint, for example, or effectiveness imprint. That's about it, man. Or pick RGB heroes that don't have ML equivalents. And then you stuff them in your storage and you wait for the new ML unit to drop, right? Like, we know Arya has been teased. We know Arunca has been teased. Maybe you pick an Arya or an Arunca, and then when their MLs drop and you get them, if you know you have the resources to get them, you've already got that first imprint built in. You can kind of play that game too, right? Yeah, it's definitely playing the long game. But hey, you know what? It's a selector. Are you sure Fene will be available with the tickets? That's something I'm going to go into, and I'll have notes up on the screen. But let's be real on this. What units are... Oh, let's see here. New tier above won't be on the ticket. Right? Won't be on the tickets. Our unit... Hang on here. Helps if you can see the screen. Won't be on the tickets. Okay? What units won't be on the tickets? Most likely, there'll be a 6-month window where if it is had a banner in the past 6 months, it won't be on the tickets. So we can look at Cecilia Bot, and we can look at the timeline, and we can go back 6 months. So Tori's limited. Fene only came out in February. So there is almost no chance. Oops. There's almost no chance Fene will be on the tickets, right? Go back a little bit further. Child Senya was limited. Schneal was in November. That's less than 6 months ago. So there is almost no shot that... Where is his hump ass? There's almost no shot that Schneel will be on there. And then we go back a little further. Lands limited. This is right on the line, right? Like 6 months before April 10. 6 months before April 10 is... Let me see. So 6 months less than April 10th is October 10th. He ended before October. So really the only ones that should be excluded then, have we really only had 2 non-limited banners in the past 6 months? Did I miss someone? Limited. Then we had Schneel. Limited. Then we had Fene. Limit. Wow. We've only had 2 units in the past 6 months that weren't limited. What do you mean, Lilius? If it doesn't have an N by it, it's not new, so it'll be included. Gala was a rerun. Gala's also limited. So yeah, they could mess with it, but there is almost a guarantee that these 2 will not be on the summon because they are less than 6 months old. There you guys go. That is the tier list. That's heckin' everybody. I will do artifacts later because, man, artifacts are tricky because there are certain units that have to have artifacts to work. And if you don't have those units, those artifacts have no value. So that one I'll have to think about on my own. What gear do you think Firecrow will use? Revenge set, surely. Counter set's so hard to use in a post-mort world. So I think probably speed set. Exactly. They've got not even just sold, but are actively currently selling, right? It's currently in the shop. Why would you potentially cut into the sales of a Fene pack by giving her away for free? There's 0 chance Fene's in there, and it's also very unlikely Schneel's in there, but everybody else should be in there. How bad did that guild kick our ass? Horribly. 12,000. Pretty impressive though. They were like the number 3 Asia guild last season, and we still like gave them a. We didn't just roll over. Is Fene good? Fene's probably the most important DPS PvE unit in the game, and she can solo Rift. So yeah, Fene is good. Fene is arguably the most important unit in the game for getting the tools you need. I didn't notice Cecilia bot distraction. What didn't I notice, Crank? Sorry. What'd I miss? Veronica's free. Veronica's also a 4-star, so you can't select her. They need to create more units that strip immortality instantly. hell, Cranked? Yeah, man, sorry. I need to turn my alert sound up in my headset. The music is so loud, I'm missing alerts. Thank you so much for the gifted, buddy. I appreciate it. And to Tsuchikage, too. Thank you so much for that. You rock. There you go. I should have done that a while ago. I wonder why they never gave Ras unique looking skins we could buy. Because people don't buy skins. I know it's crazy, but people either don't like the way Smilegate makes them, they think they're monetized too heavily, but the cost to profit value just isn't there. So, and you could say, well, it's because they're too expensive, whatever. It costs them significantly more money to make skins in time, development time, and actual just cost. And hiring voice actors and actresses to revoice after the skins. They go all out on skins. And as a result, they monetize them at a super high level, and then nobody buys them. So skins just in this game don't work out like they do in other games. Hey, Mo World, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Good content. Because of you, I return to E7 Haha.
Don't you blame me for that, man. I'm not responsible for your choices. Oh, you meant that as a good thing. Welcome back. Do I think a collab will be announced next week? Probably not, but I think probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Wait, there's a Mercedes skin? Yep. You could only get it from the art book. Let me see, is it available in here? We see it in here. There you go. That's the Mercedes skin. And you could only get it after purchasing the art book, which you used to be able to buy it from the Japan Amazon store, but they finally closed the last sale of that back in March, I believe, early March. So it's now, as far as I know, unobtainable, except when Smilegate has giveaways and gives away the rare art book. It is something that we've asked them to find a way to put this into the game, because a lot of people like the Mercedes killed Arky, skinned him, turned him into a book cover, and wears his ears skin. God damn, that's dark. Yeah, you'll never look at this skin the same again. But yes, the only way to get it was to buy the art book. For the rest of us right now, it's not available. So it really is kind of a limited skin. They did it to promote their art book, and it's been unavailable for a while now. Well, that's why people were buying the digital art book, because you could buy the digital art book for, I think, like $35, but then Amazon ran out of them. But the Amazon store in Japan was still, I don't know how you run out of a digital art book, but the Amazon store in Japan was still selling them. So if you VPN'd and made an Amazon account, you could buy it from the Amazon store in Japan, and then you got the digital art book emailed to you, and it came with a code. You entered the coupon code, and boom, you got the skin. But a friend tried it recently, and Amazon no longer has it listed. It got pulled from the Japan Amazon store sometime in March. And I did send a request to Smilegate saying, hey, could you guys please make the skin available? Lots of people like it. At least put it in the heckin' skin shop. Even if they put it in the skin shop and sold it for $25, people would buy it. Same price as the art book, right? But anyway. Is what it is. They had limited capability for digitals. Japan didn't seem to, but maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know. Not my circus, not my monkey. I got an idea who the poor soul in the E7 opener is, around 41 to 42 seconds. 41 to 42 seconds. That's a statue. These are either statues or they are representatives of the nuns and priests from the Church of the Goddess after Rast didn't wake up and they felt that the goddess had abandoned them, and they turned to the Church of Ilrios, and they had to come up with the whole saint lie to. Oh, we talking about this? Who is this, huh? Aren't those the Nocturnes? Possibly, but they don't look like any of the Nocturnes that I know, but possibly. This is just some poor ass soldier who got like impaled by about 17 spears. This is somebody in the homunculus program. They're being suspended upside down in the vat of liquid where they were breeding where they were cloning soldiers, not just the homunculus program, but also the Magic Knights program, right? Where they were making the thing that Sez and Kwerik and all them went through because they were trying to find ways to fight the Archdemon, and none of it was working because the Archdemon is divinity and immortals can't kill the divine. So they were trying everything. Rast wasn't waking up, so they were making homunculus, they were cloning magic hand guys. They were trying everything to find ways to fight the Archdemon. And, Diane eventually had to go and get the entire Nocturne race to sacrifice themselves to make barriers strong enough to contain it. They used, like, all of their life energy, and every single Nocturne died, sealing and containing the Archdemon long enough for Rast to wake up and freaking kill it. The only Nocturne who survived was Ludwig because he got locked in and left behind. And he is not happy to see Ross when Ross shows up and asks for the Nocturnes to help him more. Hopefully we find out in Epic 6 who roofied Ross. Yeah, that would be Dishay. Ross was an extension of Dishay. She was his avatar, her physical presence, right? She was the Jesus to her God kind of a thing, right? Her physical representation on Orbis to help combat the Archdemon, and she used so much of her goddess squeezins to rebuild Orbis that she passed the fuck out, and therefore Rast didn't wake up. That's why Vildred lost his shit, is he knew that DJ couldn't reset the world again, and if we keep doing things the same way, evil was going to win. All it would take is Ras to lose one more time, and this Ras is a pathetic, weak-ass Ras compared to the Ras of Epic 6. And Vildred knows this because Kayron makes sure Vildred remembers all the stuff that happened at Epic 6, and he remembers what a pipe-swinging motherfucker Ras was in Epic 6, and how this new guy is kind of a bumbling idiot by comparison. He's not got he's not the god that he was. He's not the divine being that he was. And that's why Vildred takes matters into his own hands, kills Dishay, absorbs the Archdemon's essence, and becomes Arbiter Vildred because he basically thinks he can do a better job. And rebels against Ross. Again, a lot of this pulls heavily from Christian mythos. Vildred becomes the Satan of the story or the Judas of the story by betraying Ross. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. And in a twisted form of logic, he didn't. Ross says, I would do everything the same again, and Vildred remembers that Ross doing everything the same just leads to death and destruction. And remember, Vildred was there, fighting alongside DN, fighting the Archdemon War, containing the Archdemon, watching companions and compatriots dying, watching an entire race of people sacrifice themselves. You basically commit what's a combination of genocide and suicide, right? I mean, they freaking all killed themselves to contain this Archdemon, and then Ross finally wakes up, and everyone's all pissed off, but glad he's finally awake. it's still fresh. It's only been 25 years since the Archdemon ravaged the freaking world. And that's why everybody's giga mad at Rast through the story. And Vildred goes over and he's like, what are you going to do differently this time? And Ross is like, what do you mean what I will do differently? You're not supposed to remember anything. I'm essentially goddess. I'm just going to do everything. Every choice I've ever made is a good choice. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. And Vildred goes, huh. So, the world ends again and then evil wins. Yeah, I gotta go and do the right thing. And Vildred made the wrong decision for the right reason, and the Archdemon's power corrupted him so much that he straight up became a bad guy. He didn't intend to become a bad guy. He intended to take this power and use it to become partially divine. Absorbing the Archdemon's essence into him would make him partly divine too, and then he could go and save the world. Unfortunately, it would, it was corrupted power, it was tainted power, and he became an acolyte. He became a tool of the Archdemon. And so Vildred is supposed to be Darth Vader. That's a really good analogy. All right? Anakin didn't think he was doing anything wrong. He didn't think he was being evil. From his point of view, Ross was the big bad. Ross was leading us down a road to inevitable destruction and death. And he needed to redirect it in a better direction. So, yeah. It's an interesting story arc. And I'm looking forward to learning more about it in Epic 6. Also remember that Ross eventually fails in Epic 6. Ross eventually fails in Epic 6, but he doesn't always fail, right? The world has been reset the Archdemon has been defeated hundreds of times. Ross usually wins. Until he doesn't, and then Dishay resets the world. There have been hundreds of Archdemon cycles, so much so that everybody remembers Ross always waking up and killing the Archdemon and saving the world. Minimal loss of life. Him and the heirs and a handful of troops, they go out and they defeat the big bad. Until he fails, and then Dishay resets the world and wipes everybody's memory of Ross failing. So as far as everyone knows, canonically, there's thousands of years of history of Ross saving the world. Until he doesn't, and nobody remembers that. That's why Ross not waking up was such a big deal, such an existential crisis of faith, that Corvus becomes Dark Corvus, that the Church of Ilrios arrives, that people have to make up a lie about Dien being a saint sent by the goddess, that people start like putting people through like, torturous, questionable medical experiments to make them strong enough to fight the Archdemon. I mean, they really wild out with some of the shit they're doing. Even the crazy people who are turning little, innocent furry families into black stones, they're doing that to make more powerful warriors to fight against the Archdemon. Everybody's doing horrible atrocities for the right reasons. Deanna asking an entire race to sacrifice themselves just to buy time. I mean, we got to make these hard decisions or the world ends. And Vildred, he felt like he was making a hard decision or else the world was just going to end. So yeah. What Vildred did was wrong, but he did it for the right reasons. When do we get Saskia? There is a good chance we could get Saskia in Epic 6, because unlike Epic 7, Saskia ain't dead. All the Nocturnes are alive and well. Ludwig isn't even a little shithead in that one. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. That sums up Vildred. Yep. Yeah, it was too much power. It drove Vildred mad. It tainted him, and Kayron knew exactly what he was doing. F that event. We'll save up. Okay, but if I got destroyed by Charon, I'd lose it too. He didn't get destroyed. Remember, Charon tainted Vildred with the Archdemon's blood, and that way when Charon went to meet with Vildred in Epic 7, he was able to like do the whole, you know, remember thing, and suddenly Charon remembered, Vildred remembered Epic 6. Isn't Charon also a Nocturne? I don't believe so, but I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not sure what... I know he's like a king of the undead, and that he's cursed to live forever, and that's his motivation, is he just wants to die. He wants the endless cycle to be over because he is tired of he's tired of living. He's seen too many worlds, he's seen too much shit, and he just wants to retire already. So his motivation is let Ras fail so that everything can die and he can be permitted to die too, instead of constantly being brought back so he has to deal with everything over and over again. But yeah, I'm not sure what Charon's origins are. Charon is a puppet of Tenebria. Charon and Tenebria are both acolytes. I am not sure which came first. Yeah, the acolytes are like heirs, right? They were all converted. They all have a backstory. They weren't like Ross, where they were just, you know, they sprung fully formed evil. So is Ras not Orbis? Orbis is a god. Orbis is a lesser god who was killed in the Celestial War. Diche is a lesser god that was Orbis's brother, and Diche preserved her brother's body to memorialize him. And, you know, she was the goddess of life. She put Orbis was the god of nature, so she used his body to make a planet that we all live on. And then she sent her avatar down to the surface of Orbis. That's Ross. That's her heir. That's the avatar. And she sent him to the planet to help defend it against the Archdemon, who is Ilrios's, her other brother, Orbis's other brother, who's trying to destroy Orbis. I don't want to recap the whole lore thing. I've got a whole ass video about it if you search TristenWulf lore, but the big god, the greater god of our galaxy, Aethra, died in the Celestial War. And because gods in this game are stars, they die the same way stars die. They supernova and explode. And when Aethra died, it split into 4 equal parts: Orbis, Ilrios, Lunaris, and Diche. Okay. Diche became the goddess of life. Orbis became the goddess of nature. Lunaris became the goddess of barriers and the moon, and Ilrios became the god of sun. And he went around defending the galaxy from invaders, while Diche, who took the loss of Orbis the hardest, was preserving her brother's body. And Lunaris is like, I will throw up barriers to keep things from invading, while Ilrios patrols the border and keeps things out. So since Ilrios was out there patrolling, he was the easiest for the outer gods to corrupt. They corrupted him and said, go destroy Orbis so Diche will stop mourning and can restore the battle. So again, Ilrios wasn't necessarily evil. He just got corrupted by greater gods. He's a lesser god. What you gonna do? So he sent the Archdemon to destroy Orbis. So Diche created Ross and sent Ross to defend Orbis, because only the divine can kill the divine. And since the Archdemon is a divine being, a creation of Ilrios, they needed to send Ross, a divine being, a creation of Diche, to fight the Archdemon. Because humans, they can contain the divine, they can slow the divine down, but they cannot actually kill divinity because they're mortals. And that's the fundamental basis of Chapter 1. It's Episode 1 and Episode 2. I didn't bother with any of the other episodes. 1, because it takes weeks to make those lore videos. It's a lot of effort, and nobody seems to watch them. and two, the lore in episode 3 and especially 4. I mean, episodes 3 is like, you could tell they were really into Cyberpunk and Game of Thrones, which was popular then, and they tried to weave that into the story. And then episode 4, the entire lore of episode 4 is this. I really like my best friend's girlfriend, but she won't sleep with me, so I'm going to have her sacrificed to an elder god. Maybe I went a little too far with that, so I'm going to go through the most elaborate plan to bring her back to life and kill myself in doing it. And also there's furries and racism. The end. There you go. That's episode 4. My best friend's girlfriend won't sleep with me, so I had her sacrificed to an elder god. That's it. And then episode 5 is vampires and triogenesis and bringing us back into the Celestial War concept. And now we can slide into episode 6. Yeah, there is definitely a "what are you doing, step bro" thread to episode 4-2 in there. Oh. Anybody else got any questions about Epic 7? The Origins update should be pretty soon, right? April 10th. That's like after maintenance. I'm guessing BBK is the only mortal that is immortal. BBK is just a human. She's a high school student. She's at Rangar High School, and they had a Christmas event. And it was a cute little Christmas event. You make a wish, put it into a floating lantern, comes true kind of thing. And everybody's trying to find the perfect gifts for each other. And I think it was Alexa or Corinne. No, it was Alexa, right? Alexa wanted to find a perfect gift for BBK. Hang on here. And she knew BBK was really into swords, and they had heard a rumor about a really super powerful sword, so she went to go get it, and she found it, and she gifted this really cool crimson blade to Corinne, and Corinne was all excited. And when she took a hold of the sword started talking. And one thing we learned about Epic 7 is that if a sword talks, it's an asshole, and it corrupted her. And she became Bloodblade Corinne. And the rest of that Christmas story is all about her dealing with the evil corrupted sword. Yeah, one of the theories is that any sword that talks is possessed by an outer god, right? Stray's sword that Fastus uses. What was Twig? I think was a corrupted sword. They're all assholes. They're all basically evil, and that story is in the game, right? It's in the Book of Memories. I think it's just called A Small Miracle. Where is it here? Yeah, if you want to pay 900 Sky Stones, yeah, Small Miracle. It's a cute story. It's a 2018 story. It does have this artifact in it, which is really nice, and it does have 30 skin tickets in it. Or 30 or 40 skin tickets. So it gives you enough skin tickets to theoretically buy the Aether skin, which was free when the story came out. Now the Aether skin's in the skin shop, so they give you the tickets to buy it, but you can use the tickets to buy anything. It's 30, okay. So it's roughly half a skin worth of tickets, but like I could do this and get enough skin tickets to buy a skin for 900 Sky Stones and get Card of Small Miracle and learn about BBK's origin story and how she got over that. It's a cute story. What is Angelica? It's hinted that she made some deal. If I remember right, she is some celestial being. I think they called them Eternals. They're not really gods. Maybe they're demigods. Maybe they are partially divine, but we run into celestial beings, right? General Purgus is a celestial being. ML Mercedes, not Archdemon, but the other one. Celestial Mercedes is a celestial. And I think Angelica is a celestial. And she saw this child dying and basically took over her body. So that's why, you know, she's this ancient and wise celestial being, but she's in the body of a child. It's because she kind of took over her, but they really didn't go that. Yeah, and spirits are subdivisions of forces of nature, like Destina and fuck, what are their names? Destina, Noyus is the spirit lord of dark, Nixide is the spirit lord of ice, Sylvana is the spirit lord of earth, Destina is the spirit lord of light. Frick, who is fire? Malachus. Malachus is the spirit lord of fire. Think of them like forces of nature. That's actually how Strays kills the killed Rekos, is he went in. It's how he tried to kill Orbis. He tried to use the same plan, is kill the spirit lords, kill the forces of nature, and unbalance the world so much that it falls apart and dies. So that was his plan, was to, you know, break down the pillars of the world. Some Dark Tower level shit if you've read that novel. And he almost kills Malachus. He comes damn close to killing Malachus. What are the odds that Moonlight Blade Girl is BBK's twin sister? Don't know. TristenWulf here talks about an up-and-coming collab. Sorry. Is there talks about an upcoming collab? I mean, all they'll say is they're always working on collabs, but they won't give us any details about it. The NDAs on collabs are so strong, they don't ever let anything slip. Is Luna stronger than Strays? Strays, yes. Yes, Strays is not strong at all. Strays is like a child. Strays has not got a lot of power. Fastus is a greater god. Fastus is one of the Dark Nebula. Fastus is stronger than Diche, stronger than Ilrios. Fastus is so strong, he killed other greater gods, like Rekos. But, and Strays is Fastus's meat puppet, right? Strays is to Fastus like BBK's Red Sword is to Corinne. It's like, you know, having that divine outer god's power pumped into him is what made Strays so dangerous. Without Fastus, Strays reverted back to just being a child and went home. Notos is a weird one. I don't know if Notos is an outer god or if he is some other force of nature. I would really like to see more about the arena story. Did you ever notice that Bystander Hua isn't a ticket for ML Theater? Damn it. Kinda, sorta, but yeah, cranked. Yeah, she's not a ticket. That's interesting. Very interesting. That's kind of wild. I will send this to them right now. 1 second. Hey, while I'm here, you guys want to see something cool? viewer sent this to me. Let me try to find it here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Do you see it? Do you see it yet? Everybody's missed it except this guy. Yeah, the fuck is that lightning bolt? Is that a new class? I think it's artifacts, guys, but, you know, a lot of us are wondering, is this a new class? It's kind of set away from the class, right? The spacing here is bigger than the spacing here. So I think this means there's an artifact that you can summon that will tie into the classes. But a lot of people are like, is there a new lightning bolt class? So, yeah. We'll have to see. Is the icon for is it the artifact icon? I just assumed that's what it meant, but a lot of people are like, guys. Ah, there you go. Yeah, yep. There you go. So yeah, it's not a new class, but yeah, it created a stir there for a little bit. We're like, oh my god, is there a fifth class, seventh class? They're gonna make a seventh class. Anyway, thought it was fun. All right, guys, speaking of fun, I'm going to jump over to Raid for a few minutes because they've got a new mini game that is kind of like Vampire Survivors, and I'm on the last stage of it, and you guys get to laugh at me as I get my ass kicked trying to play it. Let me go ahead and shift categories and get that started. We'll still talk about Epic 7 and answer any questions you have there while we were doing this. Let me get this started. Let's see, how do I start this? I start here, and I need to go over to here. So many buttons to push. Customization, add. All right.